30 seconds over. Okay, it is time to call this meeting to order. Certification that the open meeting laws were met. Yes, okay. We have an agenda to adopt. I have a couple of suggestions, or one suggestion. Moving the item 11 closed session up to immediately after adoption of minutes because of a conflict in time for Rick. So if somebody will make that motion to move that to after item 4. Okay.
Second.
Okay. Any questions, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Under the adoption of minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve the minutes. from the previous meeting. March 6th.
Yep. Second, thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carried. Now, we have moved the closed session to this period. So I need a motion. Does somebody have it there to read?
I make a motion to go into closed session per Wisconsin statute section 19.85 parentheses 1 parentheses G to confer with legal counsel for legal advice on liability issues related to county construction projects.
I'll second.
Okay. This calls for not a voice, but a roll call vote. Bridget?
Yes.
Dick?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Dave?
Yes.
Dave Larson, yes. Okay, we will move into closed session here now. We're back in open session. Yep. At this point, the public comment period. Members of the public will have a 15-minute block of time to comment on today's agenda items. Members may be present in person. Call in to make such comments. To comment by telephone, please call 715-538-1894. Public comment may be extended or curtailed at the discretion of the chair. Okay. At this point, we will move on with leaving the public comment open. If a call comes in, we will take it. County sales tax update.
Well, I got a little nervous because on Friday, when I left work, the state hadn't done anything yet. So I came back in over the weekend and they had posted the sales tax. So we're at $168,601.61. And I talked to the treasurer's office. They think they'll get that money wired in today. So that's the start of our new year.
What was it again?
160, it should be on that sheet.
Yep.
It's on the backside of your, there you go. Yeah, 168,601.61.
Couple thousand less than a year ago for the same month.
Yeah, it's in between the one 2 years ago and last year. So.
A little more than last year.
But at least you can see from the end of 2022 how much more, 491,000 over what we budgeted.
The last
So that was,
Okay. Any other questions on the sales tax? General fund update?
again, the actions that were taken at County Board in March are on there, so it shows that our balance is $3,018,244.16.
Luckily, we're not like Eau Claire County.
Hmm?
Luckily, we're not like Eau Claire County.
Why, what?
They lost $1.1 billion. Can't figure out where it is. Put it on the news. Haven't you watched the news lately?
I don't have time to watch the news.
I didn't hear any of that, so I,
Eau Claire County lost 1.1 million or $1.5 million. Like, I don't know where it is.
Hey,
And they've had trouble there before.
okay, well, we'll consider that as okay. Department requests. We have a quarterly report from Land Records with Ann.
I did print out a report and give it to Sam to deliver to you guys.
Yep.
Sam kept
I did read it, but it's laying on my desk at home.
That's fine. I just don't want to waste everyone's time by saying all this stuff here. So it's kind of just an overview every quarter of the data that we maintain for different departments. And then I went over the past year, what projects we've been working on. I did get approved for my grant, $60,000, and base budget, $54,000. Strategic initiative grant funding is gonna sunset after this year, so I won't be getting that grant money anymore. We do boundary collection for the state every January and July, got that done. Statewide data collection, that's parcels, addresses, roads, boundaries, zoning data. I submitted that to the state on March 13th. Our LiDAR flight was flown in '22, but we still haven't gotten that because it's a lot of processing. And then this year, as soon as the snow melts, we'll be having a new aerial flight. Still waiting to hear when they're gonna do our county. They'll be doing some surrounding counties as well, La Crosse.
Probably June with all the snow.
Right. My grant reporting is due every June. And we're still working on NG 911 data conversion. We did finish a zoning map application for the village of Trempealeau, so they can have a zoning application when they're at their village meetings, and they can make changes and see how that looks without me being involved. And I just have the year of data maintenance and creation from March 22 to March 23. We did just get back, well, in February, we got back from our Land Information Association conference. 2 days of informative sessions and meetings. My GIS technician test took a free cartography course, which was an hour a week, and she just graduated from that. We had the Land Information Officers meeting in February. And like I said, from that meeting, we found out we were gonna get a decrease in grant funding for 2024. Then we had a Land Information Council meeting in-house. That's me and other departments that meet, and we did a demo of a possible new GIS web application, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Upcoming, I'll have a Land Information Officers Network meeting in May, and then we'll have our spring meeting in Eau Claire in May too. As far as some of the things I've personally been working on, I did do performance reviews for my staff. We used the new system, NeoGov, to fill out the reviews and had face-to-face meetings. They went really well, really easy. And then also we have the new phone system, which is the Google phone, or the Zoom phone, and is working really well for us. 2 of us are using our personal devices, and then one of us is using their laptop. It works really good. We're able to answer calls like before we couldn't because it was on someone else's phone, but now it'll ring through all of us, so no one's calls are getting missed. Works really good. And as I was saying above, we did have the Land Information Council meeting about a new upgrade to our online GIS mapping. Right now, our online GIS mapping is not supported by the company anymore. If something goes wrong or if I need to add something new, I can't get the help I need. So right now, Nick has been working on getting more assessment data available to the public, and we couldn't integrate that with our online mapping right now. So we're looking into that. 14 counties in Wisconsin are changing their online GIS to this same system. So we'll have consistent web applications throughout the county, well, throughout our neighboring surrounding counties, which is a lot easier for end users to go from one county to another. And Tim was gonna come down and talked to us about that, but maybe he got busy. So he's not on the agenda, is he, Tim?
Is
Okay.
there a dollar figure gonna be, you're figuring it's gonna cost her?
The new
New
website,
system?
so it would be $12,000 to get it up and running, and then a yearly fee of $12,002. But Tim was gonna come down, so maybe,
And that's, which website is that?
our online mapping application, the GIS one, where you can see the property lines and the tax information.
Okay.
So we wanna add assessment information as well, so you'll have, and it'll integrate with the Register of Deeds software and with the Treasurer software. So it'll be one page for all of this information, plus the mapping.
So it's not a website thing,
No.
really, it's an integration of software technology.
Integration of software to get people, users,
I
the
gotcha.
information they need. Yeah, so it won't be like the county website, it'll just be my mapping application.
Okay.
And I guess tax information too. Have you seen our website?
I've been in, yeah, I've been into it, but,
Okay.
I mean, I'm thinking, what information don't we have access to? Because we can get tax information now.
It's the assessment information we're trying to get out there, so.
Speaking of Tim.
It's what the assessors hold in their hands. We're trying to get that out there, so. We get, a lot of phone calls for assessment information, and we don't have that data. The assessors hold it.
So you have to refer them to the assessor's office?
Right, and it's hard, because they're calling us to get more than that. They're calling us for a variety of reasons, and one of them is assessment, and we can't answer those questions. So we have to refer them to the assessor, and they're always very busy out in the field, so they don't get the information they want immediately.
And the assessors are all contracted to us?
Yes.
They're not employees of the county?
Correct.
Got it.
Each municipality has their own assessor.
And they could be, they're not even in our county?
Some are not in our county, that's correct,
There are some that are in our county?
that are out of county, yeah.
No, but, I mean, how many of them
Oh.
are in county?
I'm not sure.
I don't know if there's any.
You could be right. I feel like they call Eau Claire or
Yeah.
somewhere else, so.
Okay.
Tim, did you have anything else you wanted to say about the map application?
No, other than preventing any fear that this was gonna create a technological or security issue.
Right, and that's,
We didn't see any.
okay. No, it was okay. And I don't know if we wanted to talk about oh, I should say, the funding for this all comes from public access fees that the Land Records Department gets when you record a document. So the money is there for public access of our GIS tax information. So it's not like it would cost the taxpayers any money.
It's not costing levy dollars?
No levy dollars.
That's important. And one other quick question.
Yes.
Thank you for putting this report together, it's always good information. On the well points and the
Yes.
well results.
Yes.
I'm assuming the well points, you get notice of that based on permit requests for drilling a well.
Correct.
How are the well tests then recorded? Where does that come from?
It is somewhere in Arcadia. Oh,
Western Dairyland?
yes.
Or
They
Dairyland Labs.
Dairyland Labs,
Dairyland
yes,
Labs.
yep. So they email that information to us. We've kind of made a deal between, Health Department and UW Extension. We've kind of gotten a process together where they email that to whoever wanted the information, and then we make that map. And I've done some really nice applications to show where there's issues with water.
So on the well test, that's all well tests, public, private,
I
everything?
think you have to get it from Dairyland.
No, I'm
the-
just talking about the information
Oh,
that
yeah.
they get.
Yep.
I mean, there could be a well test done from some other lab, and we wouldn't know about it, is what I'm saying.
We wouldn't know.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they have to get the actual kit and return it,
Mhm.
and then they get they get the results and we get the results.
Yep.
But it is for,
There was a
I mean, if any-
process with funding years ago. Is any of that still available?
I'm not sure about the funding of those tests. I feel like there is funding, but I'm just not sure where that
Okay,
comes
I
from.
thought there was still something. It's not nearly as good. A number of years ago, because I tested my wells through that program. It was, at the time, very good. I think the whole process, the full spectrum of tests at the time was like $120, and I had to pay 20, and the county picked up the other 100. But then with that, I agreed that my information would come into the county system.
Yep.
Extension still has a water program.
Yeah, I think so.
UW Extension.
Yeah, that's what I thought, yeah.
And one last question, if there's a closed well or a well that is gonna be closed, do you get word of that as well?
I don't, but I think on the Wisconsin DNR, they have a database of all that information. And sometimes we have to access that to even get some of our well points in. But they do have a database.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not a question, just a comment.
Yes? Oh, yes.
Tess, I got a call from a guy in California. He's been searching for records of his family moved back in 1857 into Arcadia, one of the first people to move into Arcadia. And wasn't able to get any information, but he got a hold of a gal on Land Records, Tess, and she researched it and got all this information, so he was just as happy as a lark. And called to just say, really impressed with Trempealeau County Land Records Department. So,
That needs to be a
Just had to
story in the
pass that
paper.
on.
Right? Should we get
Come
that in
on,
the
I think-
paper?
Yeah, Deborah, get that thing in there.
Yeah, that was neat. It's amazing how we can help people all the way across the country.
yeah. I got his name up and I forgot it off the top of my head, but he called and left a message on my home phone. I don't know how I got that, but I suppose it's on our site. And then I called him up and we had a half-hour conversation. He was really impressed, so
Yeah, that was nice to
good.
hear.
Any
Anything
other
else?
questions? Nice.
I'm
Thank
free
you.
to go.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you.
Good job.
Paul has a quarterly update.
Okay, we're in the middle of the borrowing for roads and bridges and the sheriff's department's vehicles. And I had to do my conference with Standard & Poor's last week. And today is the day they're going to decide what kind of bond rating we'll have. And hopefully we'll at least stay the same, which is a AA minus. And today at 12:30, I have my due diligence conference call with Quarles and Brady, which also ties into that borrowing. And tomorrow's election day.
you ain't got nothing to do then.
I don't know how long we'll be there tonight. And when she said the phones were going well, we're having some issues, but it still works. That's the best part. We'll see how it works tomorrow night when we have to do the call-ins and that. We did a mock trial was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday. Wednesday. And it seemed to work pretty well. So we're anticipating it working well. And the office is going well. I have my new employee, which I wasn't here last month, but you got to meet her. So we're doing well in the office. Any questions?
Did we meet her at the meeting?
Yeah, you introduced her.
Oh, I did.
I was at conference in Madison, so I
We
wasn't.
did exec finance.
I don't
It was
remember which
exec
one she was
finance.
in, but
Exact, I didn't bring her coffee.
Did
There
she-
you go.
Did we bring her to county board yet?
No.
No. That'd probably be the proper place to.
Well, we don't do all the new employees, don't go to county board, but
Well, Tuesday is the
Oh.
day one, so it'd be perfect time to do it.
there you go. Okay.
Okay. Nothing else? Thanks, Paul. We have a resolution coming up for maintenance staffing.
You should have the resolution in front of you.
Yeah, I know, I just.
someplace.
I don't even have a copy, so,
That's overruns.
You want it?
no, I don't need it.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any questions on it. Basically, what you're adding 117,000 square feet to my responsibility, so I need to add, I only have one custodian now, need to add at least one more full-time custodian starting last quarter of this year, and then going forward thereafter. The price that's on the resolution is what will cover the rest of this year.
Okay, so
And it already went to personnel bargaining.
I can't find the copy that I have. Was I supposed to have one?
Jeremy,
I don't find it?
Is one enough?
Do you have one?
I got one here.
I'll know shortly thereafter, but it's 117,000 square feet, but not all of that will be 100% my custodian's responsibility. Some of that is going to be the jail, which is going to be trustees doing certain things here and there, but my hope right now is that one will be enough, but I might possibly come back at a later date for another part-time person. So, but it's just like with what my utilities are going to be. It's a best guess at this at this state right now.
And remind us, how many do you have now in your department?
Right now, I have 2 full-time
Can I see
maintenance
that?
staff
I'll
and
share
1
it with you.
custodian,
So 3.
plus
total,
myself.
Plus yourself. And just for the number's sake, what does that square footage per person then work out to?
Right now, the 1 custodian that I have is 86,000 square feet minus what he doesn't do in the jail that's here now. And then so 40,000 square feet per maintenance. But my maintenance, when there is no PMs or anything actively broken, they are also doing custodial duties, so. And that's part of the job description when we do hiring. Custodian's job is 100% custodial, maintenance staff is 60-40, maintenance to custodial duties depending on the day.
And what are the line items? Can you speak to what those actually are?
Rick separated it out, but one's probably going to be, if I can see, one is,
No, you got it here. You can explain.
Well, it's all right here.
or Paul would know too, yeah, but so, one is gonna be for
The 111 is salary.
salaries, and then what, benefits?
Yep, the
Health
151
insurance.
is social security, 152 is retirement. 154 is health insurance, and golly, I didn't look at this before. You're missing 153, so Medicare.
Yeah, I had them set up, but then Rick split them up for,
Okay.
So we need to amend that?
Well, I'm wondering if he maybe put the social security and Medicare
probably into the
together.
one together.
I'll check that out to be safe.
Yeah, and then like I said, going forward, this will be just part of my budget process in July, August.
Actually, at this point, before we discuss too much more, we probably should have a motion on this.
I'll make a motion to approve the new custodian position.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Second.
Second, okay. Now we can talk about it. Any more discussion, or are we done discussing?
I'll check with Rick to make sure that the Medicare is accounted for in there.
Okay.
There's a slight policy, slight option that they might not take the health insurance, right? That would be the
And-
only change.
You probably have this budgeted at a family, and you might get a single.
Correct.
That's the other part,
I
too.
budgeted at a higher rate, just in case they take the family plan as opposed to the single plan. And yes, there is a small possibility that they may not take it at all if they don't need it from their spouse or whatever it may be.
When are you anticipating this one to start?
It's on the,
September.
yeah, around September 1st is when I'd prefer to have this person in. That way they have about a month to get a basic understanding of what the job duty entails by working with Robbie. And then around October, because again, it's a tentative date on the turnover of the building, but I'm still banking on October-ish. So that's when I'd like to have them in place.
Jeremy, what do you anticipate the full levy cost would be for the whole year in 2024?
This is what, 22,000, so you're probably looking at about 65,000 for the next year. And that's full for the base pay, for the salary, for the whole thing, about 65, 66,000. And again, that will be going forward indefinitely on my,
Right.
on my budget.
Paul, if you're going to look and there needs to be an adjustment, can we
I'm
handle
thinking that
that
Rick
here,
must
or
have
will that take
put
a
the
whole
two of
new
them
piece of paper?
together. is what
Yeah,
I'm
because the
thinking.
total cost that's on there is what it is. It would just be a breakdown if he needed to add a different line item to split one of those costs, but the total cost
So the
is
total will stay the
already
same.
accounted for. The total
Okay,
wouldn't
total goes-
change.
Okay. Well, we have a motion and a second and no more discussion. I guess I'll call for a vote on whether to move it on to full county board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It moves on.
Thank you.
Okay, 10, department overruns. And I do have a copy in front of me.
Yeah, it's just,
Can everybody read it, or do you want it read?
You can go ahead and read it just for the public purpose, I
Okay.
would think.
2022 budget amendment to address departmental overruns. Whereas the expenditure of funds exceeding those provided in the budgeting process or by resolution of the county board is contrary to Wisconsin statutes 59.23, parent 2, parent C, and 66.0607, parent 7. And whereas various departments have reviewed 2022 appropriations, expenditures, and possible overdrafts in their respective accounts, and whereas the following department was presented excuse me, to Exec Finance Committee showing deficits in their accounts for 22. Now be it resolved that the 2022 budget is amended with funds transferred from the county unassigned general fund, account 101.32100, to the following accounts in the amount as noted in the table below. Okay, and then, I'm not gonna read the department numbers on this, but it's special accounting and auditing for $18,078. Elections, $9,427.30. Health insurance deductibles, $8,766.33. Sheriff's administration, $79,558.22. Summer work experience, $677.14, for a total of $116,506.99. Okay, looking for a motion to approve.
Move that, bro.
I'll second.
Okay, now we can talk about it.
Starting at the top, or?
one, two, third paragraph down, the following department.
Ooh.
What department?
It's departments.
There should be an
Yeah,
S on there.
It's obviously plural, and what, I mean, I don't want to guess
The
on.
departments are the ones down below. So special accounting, that is our auditing, elections, health insurance deductible, sheriff's administration, and summer work experience. Those are,
So, but is that the county clerk's office and the sheriff's department, or?
and TV studio. And human resources is the health insurance deductible.
It's kind of funny because the title department doesn't really match the description of what it.
These
I know,
are,
I get
yeah,
it.
these are accounts under,
Yeah.
under those departments. I see what you're talking about.
I think that would probably be best to rewrite that so the departments are actually listed up there, and then you can put the heading down there. whatever that would be for that line
Make one
item.
more column?
For that line item, yeah. Mhm.
Sure, I can do that.
So what was the specific overrun for the special accounting and auditing of 18,000?
That's our annual audit with Baker and Tilly, and it's getting worse and worse, I'm gonna say that, because of GASB regulations, where we have Government Standards Board tells us we have to do special accounting for different governmental programs. And that's really, really hitting us. So I'm having a very hard time budgeting that one.
Is it time to rebid that out?
We could.
That'd be next
I'm
year
always-
though, right?
I'd have to see how many years we have left on it, because it's a 5-year contract. But I want to say we're in year 3 or something like that.
Don't they know what we budgeted?
I know what I budget, because I base it off of what they say the audit is going to be, but all these extra GASB regulations where they have to do special auditing of those programs, it's getting harder.
So,
And we're up in the 80s now of government standards boards. I think GASB 87 is the one that's coming up this next year. So I mean, there's a lot of federal regulations.
so, Paul, do we have somebody within that office that trains and puts things together for the auditing firms? Because what I've found with the village experience is that you can save a lot of money preparing and knowing what they're going to need ahead of time.
Oh, we do
And
all
it gives
that.
less time for them to be
We
there.
do all that, yep.
So we have somebody that
That's my office, yep.
monitors these new requirements and things like that to help keep costs at a. Okay. Thank you.
What was the overrun on the election sample?
Ballots. That's throwing me. I think now for this April election, our ballots were 15,000 at least for just the ballots, and that just,
Not including the coding of the machine, that's another 7 or 8 grand.
yeah. That's what's killing us. The elections has always been a not really self-supporting, but I always budget the exact same amount every single year. We have 6 elections in a 2-year cycle. 1 year is 4, and like this year is only 2. So, but I budget the same amount every year, and it's always been okay, because we carry over the leftovers for the next year's election. But this year, it didn't happen.
So we're having to buy more ballots than we generally have been? Is what's
Right. With our old Edge machines, they're called the touchscreen, I didn't have to order as many ballots. But now, with the new ICE machine, that's the only way they can vote, is on a ballot, paper ballot that's fed into the tabulator.
And we're just having more people show up to vote.
Right. Now, this February election, I ordered ballots anticipating a 25% turnout for the election. I had about 4 municipalities that ran out of ballots. So I always tell them, just in case, hold on to 1 ballot so you can photocopy it. But you can't put the photocopies into the machine, so you have to hand count those. So I had 4 municipalities that ran out of ballots, but when we got all done, the turnout for the whole county was 19%, so I figured I was okay, but I wasn't in some of those municipalities that had bigger turnouts.
Not gonna run
No.
out before election day.
No, you run out on election day.
I know, but you said they're already out, or no?
That was
Oh, last
February,
Oh.
yes. Oh, no, I don't have anybody running out this time, it better, because, the village of Trempealeau was one that ran out of ballots, so they had to make copies, and the clerk wasn't too happy about that. You probably heard about that, Bridget. So she called me and she said, well, make sure we have enough ballots for April. She said she needed at least 80%. And so I said, well, I didn't do 80, I did 90. So I mean, because you've got a referendum down there this time around. So if we have a 90% turnout,
Still 90%. I
Good
don't
voter turnout, Trump.
we got some areas in the county. We're still in a learning process now, because if you did run out of ballots before, you could still vote on the touch screen, the edge. Well, we don't have that option now because the edges are all
And you
obsolete.
have more interest in school board elections.
Oh, there's going to be.
Where you may not have had
This is going to be a good turnout, I'm sure. I don't think we're going to hit 80%, but I had to be prepared for 90% is what I did. I did have some municipalities that ran out of absentee ballots. Those ballots are actually the same ballot, but they're scored so that they can be folded, put in an envelope, and they make sure that the scoring doesn't go through any of the voting part. That's a big thing too when you're printing those ballots. So that's that one. The health insurance deductible, that is an up and down thing. This is HR on this one anyway, but we pay that 500 for a single and 1,000 for family deductibles. And this brought it up to over budget. Sheriff's Department's next. I worked really hard on this one and got it down as far as I could. That's why they're here today too, I know. So they probably have to explain. Actually, the only one that was over budget was the Sheriff's Administration. There was money left over in highway safety, support, jail, and dispatch. What was the other one? Ooh, you know what?
Forgot that one.
Did I betcha I did. Hang on, let me find it.
Should've done something. Might have been.
The figure could be less.
Maybe it is. Hang on, I gotta find it. I can reduce that one by 11,004 or 704.96. Thank you. So this resolution will have to be redone. I'll bring it back next month if you want that. It's just got to be done before the auditors get here.
All right, okay.
Can I address the committee?
Thank you for saying.
I assumed you were here for a reason.
Well, unfortunately, I didn't know until 9 o'clock this morning, that this was on the agenda, so I'm really not prepared, but the Sheriff's Administration, the Sheriff's budget consists of 4 pieces: Sheriff's Administration, jail, dispatch, and courthouse security. The Sheriff's Administration is the budget number that Paul's referring to. That's $103,000 over budget. The jail is nearly $80,000 under budget.
Correct.
Dispatch is about 5,600, maybe close to 10, I guess. I don't remember off the hand.
Dispatch was $1,321.
1,300,
To the good.
and then now courthouse security 11,000. Correct.
And your
Yep.
support services was 6697 to the good.
Okay.
6,000.
So that brings that 103,000 down to nearly less than 20,000, doesn't it?
Probably.
So, and that's the amount that actually the general fund will be covering. Well,
Well, the general fund will also be covering, I'm going to use prisoner phone fees. You budgeted 15,000. You only brought in 12,000, so 2,900
so that's,
deficit there.
okay, so when we create our budgets,
Yep.
the bottom line that is on the levy already reflects the revenues that are
Yep.
anticipated to come in?
Anticipated revenues. Anticipated revenues. That levy is figured on.
So what is the 79,000 number? You said 113?
He had,
103,000 is what the
103?
sheriff's administration is over.
So this is not, this 79 is not a good number.
well, it's gonna go down by 11,000 because I'm glad Carol mentioned the
So it's down to about
security.
67, 68,000.
Yep.
But that's not a good number still?
That is a good number, because like I said, okay, prisoner phone fees, I'm gonna do a line thing here so I make sure. Okay. Oh, we're gonna start with the sheriff's fees and overtime. He actually brought in 21,000 more than was budgeted. So that was to the good, so I gave him credit for that. Prisoner phone fees was short $2,959. The electronic monitoring was short 24,000. That's a killer right there. Civil process fees is down just about 4,200 short. Warrant fee revenue was short $7,600. Insurance reimbursement was short $7,000. Inmate vending revenue was short $5,700. Inmate medication revenue was short $3,700. The SSA incentive payment brought in $400 more, so that, he got credit for that one. Board of Prisoners was short $13,000. And booking fee was short $100. Municipal holds was short $500. Daily fee revenue was short $7,900. The OWI blood draw restitution was short $12.90. Sheriff office revenues was short $3,500. MEG reimbursement was short another $3,500. And then the towing revenue was short $265. So when you take all of that into account, it'll come down to that 60, whatever I'm finishing adding here, about 60-something hundred.
Does SCAP get included in that?
I don't put SCAP because that's a non-lapsing. Hang on. Hang on. I got, there's three parts that do not count towards that because they're non-lapsing accounts. The DARE program is one of them. They have 18,000 to the good, and that gets carried over to the next year, okay? Then you have the sheriff's vehicle account, that's $55,000. That gets carried over to the next year. And then you have the SCAP, which is $55,600, which gets carried over to the next year. So I can't use those three to accommodate this year's budget, because you get to carry those over.
Unless.
Unless you want to use them, but I don't think you can for, those
No.
are designated for specific things. I don't think you can use them for
Right.
overrun.
Unless a resolution is put together that you guys would support and wanted to do that, correct?
But I don't think you'd want to do that.
That would be the process, but that's not going to happen.
Okay.
I don't think they
Just
want
wanna
to.
make sure we're
Right,
clear.
right.
So,
So, and I worked hard on this one, and then I still missed the security, so.
So one thing we corrected this year, and Paul pointed it out last year, but it was too late. So for 2023, the overtime expenses that for Ashley for the Arts and for the Automotion that are in Wisconsin Dells that the Sheriff's Office participates in are listed as an expense item on the budget for 2023, so that the revenue offsets it. In 2022, and it was pointed out in 2021, those were not listed as expense items, so they directly put us under over budget right away. They weren't accounted for in expenses, where this year they will be now, so we won't see that next year. And that's about close to $25,000 probably between those two events. And then
Did you get paid for those yet?
yes.
So
Yep.
they should have been in your revenues here
Yes.
someplace. Or maybe it was the
Well,
one that was the overtime?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So then, and fuel, I talked all last year about our fuel budget was going to be over substantially, but I didn't ask for any because I was hoping the budget would be able to absorb it. Obviously, it didn't. That was almost $30,000. Fuel was over by that much. So those two expenses there account for a great majority of why we're over. The other one is the change in health insurance selection that employees take
always
throughout
a
the year.
killer.
When we're hiring, during mid-year, we don't know what they're gonna take, so it's hard to budget for that, so we don't even know if we're gonna be hiring. So when we have somebody leave and come in, it's out of our control, and then it's the difference in the plans that they select, and that, the health insurance, those three put us at that 80,000 or more mark, so.
I can get that changed on this resolution. It will be the 67,853.26. And you could still adopt it today to take to county board.
Paul, this represents all the departments in the county.
Everybody
all
in
for
the-
2022's budget. And was there anybody's budget that was not used in totality that could be applied to this, or?
Not in their department. You know, if
Maybe
I-
say it differently. Was there a department that did not use all of their funds from the levy that offsets this?
When the books are closed, the ones that had money left over will go into the general fund, which the ones that were short, we're taking it out now to.
Okay, so let me re-ask that.
No, maybe I'm not,
Good, so
Okay.
are there departments that put money back into the general fund that would cover these overruns? That that this
more than
resolution?
enough, more than enough.
Thank you.
Okay, I know what you're getting at. I'm gonna give credit. I'll give,
When the audit comes back?
yeah. Okay, for,
Negotiate, you get, find out, kind of get sent.
okay, I'll just grab a bunch of them here to check, but county board, you still had 5,500 left in your budget, which I think a couple years ago, county board was always overspent, so about 5,500 will be going back into the general fund there. Another one would be the circuit court, has about $58,000 going back into the general fund. I'll pick another one. The district attorney is 20,000 going back. Coroner is 33,000 going back. Let's see, another one. Corporation counsel, I think because he got split up between all these other departments, there's 36,000 going back in the general fund.
So
there.
to your point, there's more than enough funds in the general fund that would
Yes,
go to
yes.
offset what we overran on these specific line items, which
Yes.
is good, but when it comes to our budgeting process this year for 2024, we need to take that into consideration on those that had more and had less and try to even it out a little bit, right?
Yes.
It's not like putting more money into the W-4 so that you get more taxes back at the end of the year, you know, that kind of thing. So that's actually not too
And if-
bad then.
Just one more point, I believe we have probably one or two more revenue items that'll be coming in yet.
And see, that's one thing, if it's not in here when I do this thing,
Yeah.
that's the killer.
Yeah.
When they coming?
I think one is June, if I remember. I don't remember.
I get a lot
I just remember
of-
looking at that one before the last county board meeting, that one revenue
Does it
comes in about
come from
June.
the state?
What's
Is
that?
it- Who's it come from, like the state?
I believe it, yeah.
Okay, because I do get a report from the state on monies that they have sent back to us, and what we're doing right now is reconciling those. But those are all accounted in here that I know of. But if there's still money coming, we'll have the auditors work on that so that they can show it as a receivable. Unless
Yeah.
you know exactly
No.
the amount that
No.
comes from some of those.
And there's a couple of accounts, like when you mentioned our electronic monitoring revenues were that low. Well, our expenses are that low too in that account. Those directly offset each other, so.
Chair, I think it would be good then if we added another paragraph in this resolution when you change it for next month that says those departments that had not used all of their funds, that would be offsetting those departments that didn't. And so everybody's aware of, hey, we did a good job on the budget for 2022 and there's funds there. And we're not negating the general fund.
True, okay.
So just as
But like
you're,
I said, I
just
can
as you're
bring this
listing
back
departments
next-
that had overruns, let's list the departments that did not have an overrun.
There's probably.
Don't list them all, list the total of all of them combined or
Oh.
something.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, because
Trying to make it easier.
it's all of these, all of these and all of these.
I mean, that's perfect.
So, I mean,
The
it's like-
transparency there is beautiful because, we did a good job having enough funds. And gratefully, I mean, our levy was more than enough to cover things. So.
Okay, Paul, so you're going to rewrite this
I'll rewrite it.
for
'cause I wanna
us for
fix-
next month, or rewrite it to be approved at full county board?
Which way do you want it? I can, because the auditors don't come until June, so I could still pass the resolution in May.
Yeah, that way.
Yeah.
I
rewrite
think
it-
that'd be
rewrite
better to get it
and then-
totally
Okay.
reorganized for us.
Because we can have it in the full board in May.
Yep,
In May.
yep.
We'll talk
Okay,
about it again
I can do
next
that.
month.
One more paragraph showing.
Okay, if that is our wish, let's see, somewhere we need a motion to postpone, delay, whatever, till the May meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to adjust the current resolution for the budget amendment overruns and bring back to the
May,
exec finance committee next month.
in May, okay. Do I have a second to that?
Month to get some of that money in.
John just-
Okay, second, okay, I did. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
Let me throw another thing in there, too. The treasurer's office finished up their, what we call fiscal carry, monies that can be put back to last year on Friday. So I was in this weekend and got this all put together, and that's why I'm sorry it was so. I had to wait till their receipts got posted so that I could get all the numbers. And like I said, I worked the hardest on the sheriff's department. I did.
Okay, we're done with that one. I guess,
We're not giving them any money, Jen.
I believe we're on to item 13, discussion of ARPA funds active.
Those people aren't on. Integrity's said they would be on with us.
We maybe kicked them off when we went to closed session.
Oh, yeah. Great.
They
I
called
don't
it-
have
they called
any
back
that.
in.
I don't know. They were going to, I gave them the
Maybe.
Zoom thing.
Right, they
Oh,
were, there was
nuts.
a couple in, but we had to kick them off for a closed session. So can they call back in or come back?
They could, but I don't. Can you?
They pushed somebody into hold or wait, but one person, one party they kicked off. There may be somebody in the hold pattern still.
Do you want to?
They were in a waiting room.
Are they coming on?
Instructed for closed, but then they disappeared.
Can,
Who was that for?
Integrity.
Who are they?
They're the ones that are, oh wait, that's FEMA. Hang on. They're not
Okay.
the ARPA, they're the FEMA. I'm sorry. I got ARPA, FEMA, fever.
Well, they're next.
Well,
They were in the holding, then they left.
can Stacy go into my emails and find the one from Lauren Scott? It'll be a cent. And maybe she can send it again. And don't do it as a forward. Yeah, she could do it as a forward, but then to Lauren Scott and Chelsea somebody. I can't remember what her last name is.
Oh,
I don't know if, well, it'll be in that email. Yep. There'll be an email in there from Lauren Scott.
So can we do the discussion on the ARPA then?
I guess you do have an update on ARPA.
Was there anything added to it from the last month?
No, it was changed because of the presentation for
Oh, for veterans, if
The
somebody came back in?
Stoddard Park
Oh,
rejuvenation, that was like over 500,000
Right,
request.
yep.
And the actual number, when you had the presentation last month, was 302,993.
Okay.
So that got changed. And then up above, in the allocated, the one that you allocated January of 2022 for the veteran services walkers and wheelchairs, that figure is the actual dollar figure. Now, yeah,
Number changed because they were gonna request funds for like phase one.
and Sam gave me that number, so that's the number that's on the sheet. You guys all got one of these, I
Yep.
think? So that's the number there. So, but none of the, like the Justice Center contingency, the Justice Center, what's FFE, fixtures,
Furniture and
furniture,
equipment.
and equipment. That 870,000 is still allocated, but it has not been expended. And then same with the one that was passed in October of '22 for the radio towers, that 1.5, it's about 1.6 almost million. That's been allocated, but nothing's been spent. So, and I have to have a report into the feds. It's due April 30th, so I'll be working on that in the next couple of weeks. I had to do the one for, now I don't remember what that's, it's LATCF, something like that, local assistance to, we got $100,000 there that Lori put into a interest-bearing account, so we've raised like $500 on that already too, I think. I had to do that report, and that was due the end of March. And I kept thinking in my mind, I better get that done, and when I went in on Thursday last week,
You'll get close to
this
the end
is,
of March.
I know, I said, it's getting close, I better make sure I got it done. It said, you can't do it because you already did it on March 3rd. So I had already forgotten from March 3rd to the 30th. 27 days and the mind was gone. So that one was done. But the ARPA one is due April 30th, so I have to do that one.
and that's just a report saying where
It will
we're
show
at.
that the allocations and the actual spends is all I have to do. But it's a yearly report that has to be done every year, yearly.
Okay. Now we're on to the FEMA funds. With the integrity group.
And
We don't have integrity group, they were here and left
they were on there, put on hold, and then they disconnected.
during our closed session.
Yep, that probably was what messed them up. Stacy's working on that. But the report that I sent back to him, because it was, we had turned in like $250,000 worth of expenses, and we got $8,000 out of it. I thought, that was a killer right there. So, and then,
The original one was 600 and some thousand, turned in.
right. So in essence, we've only out of the 600,000 got about 211.
We did get
About,
that much.
we got about $211,000 back, but we turned in for 600,000. Also, we turned in for the administration, and,
Yeah, they told
this-
us we'd get that back.
and, well, and it,
90,000 bucks.
that was 90,000, so we should be getting that back also. But it says here too in her email to me, it does not appear that the CAT-Z project, that means nothing to me, but then she said for administration, has been initiated by the state at this point, which is not abnormal as those are usually the last projects created. So they haven't even, the state hasn't done anything with our administration yet to put it to the feds to get the money back. But that would be 90,000, but that's in addition to the 600,000 that we submitted.
So we're still waiting on that which we thought we weren't gonna get. Is that how I?
What we thought we were gonna get that we
Never
didn't.
did.
Where Integrity wrote back and said that they were ineligible expenditures. So that's why
No, part of that-
we
part of the
contacted
problem,
them.
They said I read the papers, and they said we had the courthouse closed, I said we never called, so that, they didn't file it right in the first place, as far as I'm concerned.
So, and it was Megan Marks that was our main contact, and she's left employment, so this Lauren Scott has taken her place. So,
Lori said she was on hold too long, and so now she's on another conference call with somebody else.
So do
oh,
we
you
just,
got something back from her?
we just add it to the next agenda meeting then, or?
You tell Stacy to, we'll work on next month.
Well, she called her.
Yeah, but she'd probably be on this other call forever.
Well, if
Yeah.
she's doing the same thing for somebody else that you want.
So should we
want her
put that
to do.
item on the top of the agenda?
Well, that's what I
If
was
we
thinking
can-
on, early on the agenda anyway, I don't know about top, but
Yeah,
early on the
I'll
agenda.
contact her and make sure that's done for next month.
If somebody asks for a closed session early, we have to turn them down next time.
That's probably what, yep, that's. So this one's going back on. So that'll give me 2 hours to get ready for my due diligence conference call.
Next meeting, May 1st?
Saying if anybody wants to sit in on that due diligence call, they can come to my office, 12:30.
FYI,
Today.
I will not be at the next meeting. Just for a heads up, so you have a quorum
In May.
in May. I will be out of town on vacation,
No, you can't.
out of country.
No, no vacation.
Oh, okay.
Zoom
Bob-
works everywhere.
That's right, Bob Becker was on county board.
It doesn't work in
from
the mountains of
Mexico.
Snowdonia in England, or Wales, it doesn't work.
Oh,
I think, yeah, that's where I'll be that day, yeah.
cool.
They have mountains over there?
Have what?
They're not mountains like the Alps or the Rockies, but they're the closest thing that Britain has.
Stills.
No,
Not bluffs.
Okay, we've set the meeting date, we're gonna adjourn the meeting,
May 1st,
May 1st, yep,
8:30?
yep, no reason to change in my mind.
The first?